let's talk about a little bit of marketing. This is meant to be, I would say a few words to start, just to let you understand what I've done in terms of reasoning behind the activity that I've been doing for more than 10 years in marketing open source software. But then I think it is a lot better if we exchange opinions than if I tell you what happened. So let's be clear on the definition of what we are targeting now and what we have been targeting for the last 10 years. So this is our target, and it's the early market. And now I will tell you why. Because these guys are usually the person that are more open to news. They are more open to new technologies. These are the guys that have the first smartphone when all the others still use the feature phone. They are the guys that install the new version of an operating system. These are the guys that install Linux just to test Linux, have a dual boot machine. They are the guys that are not afraid of testing technology because they understand that new technologies bring advantages. Of course, there is also, let's say, a price to pay because new technology may have bugs, problems, but at the end, if you manage new technology, you usually are an happier man at the end of the day, or an happier woman at the end of the day. Then there is this that English people call with a weird word which is very difficult to pronounce for an Italian, which is chasm, which means that these are the ones that are open to news, and these are the ones that are conservative. They're called pragmatists. So if it works, I will use it. If it doesn't work, I will not use it. And then you have the conservatives that are even afterwards, and then you have the skeptics that will never use your product. So for each marketing strategy, you have to decide which is your target. Otherwise, you just shoot in the wild and you are shooting nothing. So the target is this one, and there is a reason. These people are usually, not always, but usually, the people that are suggesting technology to these people. In the city of Bologna, when they migrated, the IT manager had the idea of choosing the tech, let's say the most advanced people, the people that were technology enthusiasts, by asking to these people, if you want to buy a new phone,
which one would it be?
Which one of your colleagues you will ask which phone you have to buy? So reverting the process just by asking these people who were the technology enthusiasts. And then these guys were the first that were migrated to OpenOffice at the time. And they were the first that, because it's clear then, if you are a technology enthusiast for phones, it's probably easier to make you a technology enthusiast for computers than someone that is not even a technology enthusiast for phones. So this is the basic idea. It's address these guys first in order to address these guys indirectly. And let's be clear on one principle. We address, and of course I'm telling something which is extreme, but and has to be interpreted with good old common sense. Let's target only these people that are using Windows. It's not because we want to ignore the people that are using Linux and Macintosh, but it's on Windows you have more than 80% of our target. So again, focus on one target which is easy to understand and spot. Avoid confusions. Of course, the other one will follow easily. Linux people have to know open source software. Otherwise, they will not use Linux. So why forgive me, why lose time in convincing Linux user that open source is good when they are already using open source? Of course, I go to all Linux meetings in Italy because I don't want to ignore Linux people. But this is not my main target when I think about communication. When I think about communication, is a basic Windows user. Someone that doesn't even feel that the computer is an important thing for him. Someone that thinks the computer is something that he has to use because today you cannot basically use the stone and the scalpel to write your letters. But they would, if possible, because they don't feel comfortable by using technology. Most real users do not feel comfortable in using computers. They don't trust themselves. I try to explain this when, in Linux, when you open the terminal, you write sudo. Sudo in Italian means I sweat. And this has been programmed for me. Because when I open the terminal, I start sweating because I don't trust myself. It's not that I don't trust the terminal. I don't trust myself writing into the terminal because I write stuff that I don't understand. I'm not a technical guy. So of course I'm forced to mimic what others have done without understanding the logic behind that. And therefore I don't trust me because I can do mistakes without understanding where I'm doing the mistake. And this is exactly the same position. For instance, my wife, she's using a computer, but she doesn't trust her as a good power user of that computer. So if the computer does something that she does not understand, she's lost. These are the users that we have to target because this is the highest number of users. If you go to power user, we can use a technical jargon, we can use a different way of communicating, which will cut away the majority of our potential users. And this is a mistake because it's better than someone says, this is not enough technical for me, we can kill them with technical material, than 80% telling, I'm not going to read that because it's too technical. Because the 80% is where we can get our, let's say, second generation users. The first generation is definitely these people. And a few definitions. It's, it's easy to, if you look at the definition, you will recognize people inside each one of these. And also in pragmatists, in conservatives, and this one. And this, look at the definition. The goal of high-tech marketing is not to sell to them, but to sell around them. You basically have to ignore the skeptics and do in a way that you really get around them with your messages. Because, the two people that are, if I look this, visionaries and pragmatists, between those guys, there is the gap that we have to fill in with our communication. Because our communication, it's easy for these guys, it's difficult for these. So let's look at a difference between these guys. One support evolution, the other one support evolution. So when you, if you look at the press release that I write for LibreOffice, I never say that LibreOffice is a revolutionary release. I always say that it's an evolution of the previous one, because I want these guys to start understanding. Those guys are not worried. They understand by themselves if the news story is a revolution. I don't want to scare these guys. I don't mind about scaring these guys. They're already available for new stories. So these are the guys that will follow us. They might be, they might be friends of Microsoft, but I'm sure that if we keep on doing it well, there is a day that they will download and install LibreOffice. They might continue to use Microsoft Office, but they will have both programs on their hard disk. These are the guys that have one program on their hard disk. They will never have two, because they're pragmatists. If you use a program, why you should have two on your hard disk? Doesn't make sense. So we have, you will never have to say that it's a risky. When we announce the first release, so the 5.0 for instance, there is always a sentence that says, if you are not a technical enthusiast or a power user, do not look at this release. We don't want them to believe that they installing the 5.0, they would have risks, because it's the first release. There might be bugs, there might be rough points inside the release. So these guys is okay, they take risk. These guys would be scared. They install LibreOffice, they get a bug, they say this product is not for me, and they revert to the previous one. And we have to avoid this risk. And last slide, then we start discussing. We need to have different strategies for different stages of the market. In each market, we are in a different position. We probably, in Italy, because I'm Italian and of course speaking Italian, and I use Italian as a test bed for strategies, because it's easy for me to test what it works. But then, and maybe I'm ahead of the majority of the other markets. What I write in Italian to Italian journalists does not reflect what I write in English to UK and US journalists. The Italian communication is ahead, because of course I can control better my language, and I have people that I have been working with, journalists I've been working with for 30 years, which is not the same at international level. So we have to understand that each market will have a different strategy, even for small differences. Might be the wording that we use for a press release, maybe the focus that we give on a specific detail. You all know your market, and it's impossible from a central point to know everything. So there might be a specific feature which is more attractive, let's say, for Hungarian users. I don't know. You know, I don't know. And if it is true, you should tell me. I think that for this release in Hungary, I'm telling it because Gabor does a wonderful job in translating press releases in Hungarian. You should tell me, for this release in Hungary, we will do it a little bit different from Central, because I think that we have a feature that has been expected by Hungarian users for a long time. May not be true, or may be true. It's up to you to tell me. I cannot tell you. I don't read your languages. In some cases, I don't even read your alphabet. Indian people, you write in a wonderful alphabet, which I find like a masterpiece in terms of visual, but I don't get a single word of your language. So, and this is the same for Japanese people. It's fantastic. When I get emails from you, you have your name in pictograms. It's a lot better than Italo Vignoli written in our letter, I know. But I know that you are, because on the side of the pictogram there is Shinji Enoki in my language. Otherwise, it could be you, Naruhiko-san, or any other Japanese guy writing to me that I have no clue. So we should help each other in doing the best for each market and for the complete community. So of course there will be, let's say, umbrella messages, which are the message from the center, and then you are free to adapt these messages to your market, and we do that. We should do that together, because this is going to allow us to improve the communication with each market. And usually the journalists in a market reflect the users of that market. Because first of all, a journalist is a user. He's probably a power user, but he's a user. So he knows, an Indian journalist will know Indian users. So if you write something which is not good for an Indian user, the journalist will understand that it's probably, it's the corporate message. But let's do it better than Microsoft, IBM, Oracle, because they have the corporate message. I've worked as a consultant for these companies, and I'm working in a large company. And they say you should never change the corporate message, which is, bullshit. Because the corporate message is okay for the United States, is not okay for the other markets. So let's do it better. Let's be friendly to each market. Of course, it's not easy, because I'm telling you, just coordinate 140 or 240, because nations in the world are 240 messages. But I want to get the challenge, because I know that only if we get this challenge of being very vertical for each market, we will win over large corporations. We are more credible. When I talk to Italian journalists, I always play on the fact that I can tell the truth. The corporate guys cannot tell the truth. I have the freedom to tell the truth. They don't have the freedom to tell the truth. And can you imagine how strong is this message when you talk to a journalist? The journalist will believe your words, because you are implicitly telling him, you can trust me, because I don't sell anything. We sell ideas, we sell principle, we sell ethics. We don't sell a product. So why you should cheat the journalist about the product if you don't have to sell it? When there is a bug, I say, okay, of course there is a bug. We will try to solve it as soon as possible. We will never refuse to acknowledge that there is a bug in LibreOffice. And I can tell you that if someone writes, this is not functioning properly in Microsoft Office, the answer from Microsoft Office press office would be, we are looking at the problem, which is, anyway, we are providing workarounds for that. And if necessary, the problem will be solved in the next version, which is a completely different answer from saying, yeah, we acknowledge that there is a bug. Developers are working hard to solve it. So let's work together in this, and we will really make the difference. I finished, and now I want your question. This is my address. I have 11 others, so you can write to any of them. I read all of them, so it's your questions, please. No questions?
In localization zone, in translation zone, generally I saw that more women's participation are there, but in open source translation field, very less women is participating. What is the reason?
You should ask women, not to me. I'm a man, so no. But I can tell you just one last thing. I will show you the system that we have put in place to send localized press releases. Later, there is a speech that says use PHP list is in the afternoon. It's important that I don't want to send the press releases for everyone. The advantage is that we have a system that tells us, once the press release is sent, who are the journalists that have opened the press release and who are the journalists who have clicked on the links. So this has allowed me over time to have a focused mailing list of people that always open. So it's important that we send it from central. I am happy to handle your mailing list, it's not a problem, and I will not give our mailing list to everyone. But I have a system that allows me to know if there is, let's say, an Indian journalist that click on the press release. I will take his address and create another email, that's a mailing list that says, interested Indian journalists. And they will start receiving more press releases just because they are opening our previous press releases. And this is how I managed to grow from a 200 people to a 13,000 people mailing list. 13,000 worldwide, of course. There are Italian, Germans, French, English, Spanish, Portuguese, Indians. There are Russians. I have one from Cuba, one from Ghana. And you could tell me why you don't put the one from Cuba, one from Ghana in the same mailing list. No, I have one mailing list for Ghana and another one from Cuba. Because one speaks Spanish and the other one speaks English as his second language. Of course, I cannot send the press release in Ghanaian unless someone translates the press release in his native language. But the Cuban one gets the press release in Spanish when I get the translation in Spanish. So everyone will get, if it is on our, let's call friend mailing list, we'll get the press release in English, because our friends get always a press release in English. But we'll get also in Hindi, if it is also an Indian. So of course he will throw away the English one and use the Hindi. And everyone has been warned that if they might get two messages from us, we apologize, but of course, being a big project, it's rather impossible to deduplicate mailing list to the point that you are really so precise. So that we are putting, let's say that as the foundation, we are creating the infrastructure also for you to be more effective with your communication. So let's use the infrastructure. I will show you, I will let you understand how the process works, but I think it's important that we start really working together as a team, even if we are scattered around the world. We have a mailing list that is called Private Marketing. If you are not subscribed to that mailing list, please send me or Sophia an email. We will subscribe you to that mailing list. It's private because we discuss how to kill Microsoft, okay? And it's not nice. And as it's not nice, we would not want people to receive the message where we discuss how to conquer the world. Okay, because we do that ethically. There has been people in the past that has not done the same thing ethically, and the confusion, people could say that TDF is here to rule the world, which is not true.
You are not conquering the world, you are giving people choice. So that's not
sure. No, I know, but you know the problem is that Microsoft guys insist on the fact that we want to kill Microsoft. I'm joking on that. We don't want to kill anyone. We want to give an alternative
we are not
to people.
And we are against monopolists.
Exactly. But you know, if you look at what they're writing in Italy, where of course the level of discussion is higher, they say, you know, you want us to get out of the market, which is totally untrue. I don't want anyone. By the way, it would be impossible, but I don't want anyone to get out of the market. I want people to have a choice between different products.
One more question. Still not replied my question. I will ask her personally. But one more question. I don't know what is the condition of English dominance in your country, but in India, English is a dominant language. It's a language of opportunity, language of job, and all the things.
It's not the same in Italy.
Yes. So, how do you think we can fight English as a language? English is a language. They are giving us a lot of information. We are thankful to that. But as a language, it's become a symbol of power also in a country like India. So, how to NLP thing is your presentations. How to penetrate our NLP project there?
Get this and translate that to Hindi.
Yeah, it's already translated in Hindi. It's already since 10 years we are translating OpenOffice and LibreOffice.
I don't have an answer for you because you know I can give you the answer for Italy, where English is not. I mean, many people speak English, but the level of English is very low. you had the unfortunate situation of having the British rule India. We didn't have
colonial
it.
past. We have colonial past.
Yeah, but you also had a Gandhi, which was, I think, rather nice guy. And I always use the word of Gandhi that says, first they ignore you, then they make fun out of you, then they fight you, and then you win.
Yes. Red Hat had put this line at every of its office. You go Raleigh, you go India, everywhere in front of office, this sentence is written there.
But I think, I think that part of our objective is also to educate people to use their own language. We localize LibreOffice in so many languages because we respect the local cultures.
Yes, we are also planning. We'll give talk. We're also planning to do it in all 22 languages. We already have 13 languages.
Yeah, I know. It's very complex.
Yes,
and let the other people know that. Once you will have the localization in all your dialects and languages, let other countries know that. Because you know that there are countries where they see this as a problem. And if you can make it, the other guys can make it. So let's communicate. If the news is only for India, don't be shy about sending me an email and say how we can leverage this news worldwide. If it's only about Hungary, let's do it. There might be 2 journalists that pick up the news story in other countries. There is already 2 countries that will know the story more than just India. So don't be shy about that. Don't be shy about sharing. The worst that can happen is that I answer you, I said, sorry, for this news I don't think it's strong enough to be sent in other markets. But it's just, we should not be shy about sharing the news stories. Because this is the only way we can really make LibreOffice look like a global project. Otherwise, it looks like it's an English-speaking, an Anglo-Saxon project, because we have to speak English. We need one language. And unfortunately, or luckily, I don't know, English is the language that is best known by the majority of people. So we have to use English as our basic language. But this doesn't mean that we communicate only in English. We communicate in each market in the local language, and I want that to become a reality. I want to get to the point, maybe in a couple of years, where the journalists, even the friends, will get only one email from us which will be in their native language. At the moment, unfortunately, the mailing list is still growing and being, let's say, cleaned up. So it's impossible to have just one email sent. Because if I don't send the English, I'm not sure that the guy gets the other one in his local language. But I want to get to the point where I'm sure that the Indian journalists will get only the Hindi or any other language they are reading in press release. The only thing that we will always have to put at the end of the press release is that if you want to talk with the representative of TDF, you should answer in English, which I think is acceptable. Of course, there will be the local community contact with that can answer in the local language. But of course, centrally, we cannot have people speaking all the languages of the world. So that's...
It's time to...
No, it's a phone call.
Oh, sorry.
It's a phone call, and I cannot answer a phone call during the speech, and so it's an invitation to work together more strongly, and it's a very strong invitation. I'm a bad guy, and I know all of you, and I will find your home address if necessary. Okay?
He used to fly. He used to fly all over the world. So.
I will find your home address if necessary, and then I will give your home address to the organization that say we know where you live. Okay? They do a clean job usually.
No problem.
Absolutely
I
clean
write a lot.
job.
Yeah, so don't worry.
No one will find evidence of your existence before.
We have recorded this.
But it's not me. You know, it's another organization. It starts with M. It's based in Sicily, but not just there. And they use a lot of concrete to solve problems. So they usually build a concrete column around you, and they put that in where the seaside is 4,000 meters deep.
It's not sad, you know. Many times they
No,
used
no,
to bridge,
You have
to build
very
up
nice
bridges
fishes
and-
down there.
Well,
Okay, no, I'm joking, of course. I'm a nice person. I would not kill mosquitoes, yes, but not over mosquitoes. Okay, so I was just joking. So that's it's all. And this is my fantastic jazz band. This has been designed by a friend designer. It's called Vladimir. I don't even remember his last name. He lives in Irkutsk in Siberia. And as we are both fond of jazz, he has sent me this and said, Italo, I've created a wall screen, and there is you are one of the four. And which one I am?
This one.
And he is that one.
I've never heard you sing.
No, I never, no. It's never asked me to sing, but I know my limits.